trouble in the tropics. Puerto Rico now declaring a state of emergency as Dorian moves north. The new track and timing, while severe weather hits the Midwest. Strong storms knocking out power for 80,000 people overnight. Ginger here with the latest.
Breakthrough judgment in the opioid epidemic. Johnson & Johnson ordered to pay more than $500 million in a first-of-its-kind ruling. And newly obtained video. The former pharmaceutical giant under oath right here on GMA.
Breaking overnight. Deadly chase.
Front injury crash with a vehicle on fire.
A suspect still in a police cruiser crashing into a van, killing 2 children. The investigation underway.
Lori Loughlin and her husband heading to court just hours from now, facing charges in that college admissions scandal. We're live outside the courtroom.
Shocking rock slide. Caught on camera, the 3,000-foot fall at Zion National Park. Injuring and trapping tourists below.
And no need to calm down. Taylor Swift ruling the stage at the VMAs overnight. Everyone a sucker for the Jonas Brothers. And Missy Elliott working it for that Lifetime Award.
Girl, kick off your shoes.
While Lizzo lets loose the throwbacks, the comebacks, and the moments you didn't see right here on GMA.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Hope you're doing great this Tuesday morning. VMAs, always an amazing night. Last night, no exception. Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, some of the big winners.
And Missy Elliott, she won the Video Vanguard Award for Lifetime Achievement. She was always ahead of her time with her music, her videos, and last night was a performance that was very hard for anybody to follow. She was amazing.
Yeah, that's being called a masterclass in choreography. She is a rock star. But we are going to begin with the latest on Tropical Storm Dorian, churning right now in the Atlantic. It could become a hurricane before it hits Puerto Rico.
And here's what we know right now. Dorian is hitting the Windward Islands this morning and Puerto Rico tomorrow night. Cruise ships already changing their itineraries to avoid the storm, and airlines are canceling flights and offering waivers. Ginger starts us off with the latest track and timing. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Michael. St. Lucia is its location right now, but it is moving west and fighting dry air. So we've actually seen the max sustained winds inside Tropical Storm Dorian drop overnight to 50 miles per hour. That should intensify again when it gets over open water. And going into Wednesday, Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic need to watch for impacts. We're talking up to 6 inches of rain, certainly gusty winds. Even if it's just a strong tropical storm, a 70-mile-per-hour wind can easily take down power lines and more. So we're watching that, and then beyond, where Saturday it's passing the Bahamas, and into Saturday night and Sunday it makes its way to Florida. Remember, red line to red line, not just the center line. That is a cone of possibility. There's a lot that could go into the driving factors here, and where exactly it ends up making U.S. landfall, if it would even call it that at point. That high pressure system is going to be driving it, and I think it's somewhere around Melbourne as by the time we get into kind of Sunday into Monday. We'll talk about that as we get closer, but of course we've got to go to Puerto Rico. We're in San Juan. We find Victor Oquendo this morning.
And good morning, Ginger. The time to prepare here quickly running out. We were on this same street when Hurricane Maria hit, destroying everything in its path. It's been 2 years and we can still feel the damage here. Just take a look right across the street at that building. Those balconies still in need of a lot of work, and now they're bracing for another storm. Across San Juan, people stocking up on those necessary supplies ahead of Dorian. Puerto Rico's Governor Juan de Vazquez declaring a state of emergency, saying today they are better prepared than 2017 when Maria killed nearly 3,000 people. The governor saying she's been in contact with the White House and the new FEMA rep on the ground, leading response efforts. And in addition, more than 200 firefighters from Miami heading down to the Caribbean to assist. Tens of thousands of people still live under those blue tarps that act as roofs. Obviously a huge concern there. And whenever a storm rolls through, Puerto Rico's vulnerable power grid always put to the test. Cecilia?
Yeah, this could be the last thing they need there. Okay, Victor, thank you. We are now going to turn to that bombshell judgment in the opioid crisis. An Oklahoma judge ordering Johnson & Johnson to pay more than $500 million for contributing to that state's drug epidemic. Nationwide, more than 130 people die after an overdose every day, according to the CDC. Our Tom Yamas is here with more on this. Tom, you've got some new reporting on another high-profile lawsuit, this one involving the Sackler family.
That's right, and some new videos. Cecilia, good morning to you. We are talking about the mass addiction to prescription painkillers. Besides that stunning decision involving Johnson & Johnson, accused of aggressively marketing their drugs, which led to opioid abuse, we're about to show you new video in a separate case of the former head of the pharmaceutical giant Purdue Pharma defend the company and defend the marketing of their signature painkiller, OxyContin. This morning, what could be a landmark decision, an Oklahoma judge ordering Johnson & Johnson to pay his state more than $500 million, the first ever court ruling holding a company responsible for their role in the opioid crisis.
The opioid crisis is an imminent danger and menace to Oklahomans.
This judgment following another surprise decision concerning another drug manufacturer, Purdue Pharma, owned by members of the billionaire Sackler family, best known as the developer of the painkiller OxyContin.
Do you know how much the Sackler family has made off the sale of OxyContin?
I don't know.
But fair to say it's over $1 billion.
It would be fair to say that, yes.
For the first time, we're now seeing and hearing from Dr. Richard Sackler, the former chairman and president of Purdue Pharma, respond to questions under oath.
Do you believe that any of Purdue's conduct has led to an increase in people being addicted in the Commonwealth of Kentucky?
No.
The clips, part of a more than 8-hour video deposition from 2015, obtained by the investigative news organization ProPublica. Sackler responding, "I don't know," more than 100 times.
Do you know if it's over $10 billion?
I don't think so.
You know if it's over $5 billion?
I don't know.
Sackler questioned about the profiting and alleged aggressive marketing of the drug that has been linked to the U.S. opioid epidemic.
These tapes represent the first time the public will see a member of the Sackler family be questioned about whether or not Purdue Pharma played a role in spawning the national opioid crisis.
On Monday, after a 3.5-year legal battle brought by STAT, which is part of Boston Globe Life Sciences Media, the Kentucky Supreme Court cleared the way for the release of the court records relating to Purdue Pharma's marketing of OxyContin. The company was accused of falsely promoting OxyContin, including failing to alert doctors that it was stronger than morphine.
There is no way that this intended or had the effect of causing physicians to overlook the fact that it was twice as potent. It was called out in virtually every promotional piece of literature.
Now, that deposition video you just saw was from a court case that Purdue Pharma settled for more than $20 million. They are facing more than 2,000 other lawsuits. They maintain they are not responsible for fueling the opioid crisis. We actually just heard from Dr. Sackler's attorney, who says OxyContin has carried a black box warning since 2001 and has an abuse deterrent formulation since 2010. As for Johnson & Johnson and that $572 million settlement against one of their pharmaceutical companies, they say the company, quote, did not cause the opioid crisis in Oklahoma, and they will appeal that decision.
Well, there are a lot of other pending lawsuits right now in the opioid cases, thousands of them across the country. This case really could end up setting precedent for them.
That's right, Cecilia. This case in Oklahoma, one legal expert told me, is the canary in the coal mine. This no doubt will have an impact on those thousands of other cases, and we're talking about billions of dollars in damages. But I asked two professors from Indiana University. They've been studying and put a lot of money behind this issue. One legal professor told me that they believe Johnson & Johnson will lose the appeal. The other told me they think they will win. So we'll have to wait and see.
We'll be watching that.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. We're going to the White House now. President Trump back from the G7 summit in France after a closing press conference where he seemed to soften his approach to trade with China and nuclear talks with Iran. Senior national correspondent Terry Moran is at the White House. And Terry, I said seemed because the president has put out so many confusing and contradictory statements over the last several days.
He sure has, George. Good morning. It was vintage Trump, this summit. In a space of a few days, he made so many contradictory and head-spinning comments that he said markets reeling and fact-checkers working overtime around the world. In that press conference, he said that Vladimir Putin should be invited back to these summits and said without evidence that other world leaders agreed with him. He blamed President Obama for Putin's invasion of Ukraine and seizure of Crimea, and he pitched his own golf course in Florida as the scene of the next summit. On China, well, the president was just all over the map. In the space of a few days, he said that Chinese leader Xi Jinping was an enemy and then a brilliant leader. He said he'd had calls from the Chinese, something the Chinese wouldn't confirm. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin said there'd been communications. President Trump says there's a deal ready to be made. The Chinese seems like they are going to wait out President Trump, at least through the 2020 election, which could really be problems for him. And on Iran, well, he said that he would meet with the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. That would be a huge move, very Trumpian. Rouhani at first said he would be willing to do so, and then he walked that back. The problem is no one can figure out where this president stands or whether what he says one day is what he means the next day. He says that is his negotiating style. That's the way he likes it. Right now, however, I think the takeaway, president is not driving events. He's being driven by them. George?
Terry Moran, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. Now to that deadly crash in Dayton, Ohio. Overnight, a suspect still in a police SUV and speeding away, slamming to a van, killing 2 children and injuring several others. Janae Norman is here with the very latest on this tragedy. Good morning, Janae.
Michael, good morning. Police officers were also injured in the midst of all that chaos that started out as a call for a stabbing and left behind 2 crash scenes and more than a dozen people hurt.
Overnight, authorities say the suspect in a deadly car chase who tried to steal a police car caused a wreck that left 2 children dead and at least 10 others injured.
We're going to need at least 2 medics and 2 children in the vehicle.
I seen just chaos. And when I hopped out, there was a woman trying to assist getting the baby out of a car seat that was trapped between the door and the van. Got her out of the van and proceeded to try to get the rest of the kids unbuckled and safely removed.
It all started around 7:00 p.m. when officers responded to a stabbing complaint in the nearby town of Riverside, but the suspect had already fled the scene.
A short time later, Riverside police had received a 911 call of a car accident. At some point, the suspect entered a Riverside police cruiser.
A witness captured the ensuing moments on camera. Watch as the officer tries to get the suspect out of his vehicle. As backup arrives, the suspect throws the car in reverse and speeds off down the street.
He is in a Dayton cruiser right now. Follow him. Wherever he goes, you go.
The pursuit ending 10 minutes and nearly 5 miles later when the suspect crashed the stolen cruiser into several vehicles, including a van carrying 7 children.
Our officers were on scene rather quickly, were able to take the suspect into custody, and the suspect was removed.
And we're told some of those taken to the hospital had life-threatening injuries, including some of those children. That suspect is in custody, was also treated for injury. So a lot of people left hurt in the midst of all this.
So easily avoidable.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Janae.
Thanks, Janae. Now to new developments in the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's death. This morning, there are now new questions after the Washington Post reported that footage from at least one camera outside his jail cell is unusable. Diane Macedo is at the federal courthouse here in Manhattan with the latest on this. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning, Cecilia. Surveillance video may be critical to this probe into how Epstein died while in custody at New York's Manhattan Correctional Center just beside us earlier this month. But the Washington Post is now reporting this new setback. A source close to the investigation, or sources close to the investigation, tell the paper that footage from one of the cameras in the hallway outside Epstein's cell is unusable. Now, it's not clear why the footage is unusable or what is visible in the usable footage, but this is just another failure uncovered at the prison. It was already reported that the guards were supposed to check on him every 30 minutes, yet no one had been by his cell for hours. He also wasn't supposed to be left alone, and yet no cellmate was assigned. The convicted sex offender was arrested in July on sex trafficking charges for alleged crimes dating back more than a decade. While the criminal case against Epstein is over, Cecilia, alleged co-conspirators are still under scrutiny.
Yeah, they are, Diana. It's a big day in that court there behind you. The prosecutors are formally going to dismiss their case against Epstein in the wake of his death, but not before we hear from some of his accusers.
It is. The judge in the case is allowing accusers to say their piece here today in court. And while the criminal case against Epstein will be over, the legal battle, Cecilia, is not. Several accusers have already filed civil cases against Jeffrey Epstein's estate, and several more say they plan to. So expect to hear much more on this case going forward, Cecilia.
Still going. Diane Macedo, thank you. George?
Brittany, at the latest now from the Amazon, where thousands of wildfires continue to burn through the lungs of the world. 20% of our oxygen comes from the Amazon. The fires have scorched 1.8 million acres. It's now a crisis for the global environment. But overnight, Brazil rejected millions of dollars from G7 nations to fight the fires. Matt Gutman is on the front lines in Brazil. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. And overnight, Brazilian officials offering no reason for rejecting that offer, only saying that the money might be better served reforesting Europe. But having been on the front lines yesterday, seeing the terrifying speed and ferocity of those blazes, it seems Brazil could use all the help it can get. That fire exploding through those palms, roaring towards us.
It's shocking how fast we've seen this fire march. It's moved about 200 yards in the past 5 minutes alone.
The heat and the embers whipping by, beating us back. We arrived there just minutes earlier, seeing that column of smoke rising above this man's farm, the fire all around. He said his name is Geronimo, and he was worried he'd lose it all.
There's nothing that can be done with this fire. It's going to consume this farm.
This is just one of tens of thousands of fires burning in Brazil and Bolivia right now. The Amazon, often called the lungs of the earth, producing 20% of the world's oxygen, burning at a record rate. On Monday, G7 nations collectively pledged $40 million to help save the Amazon. But many say it isn't nearly enough. Overnight, protesters across Brazil begging for the world's help. But Brazilian officials saying overnight they'll reject the offer. Facing international criticism, it hasn't done enough. Brazil this week began to deploy 44,000 troops and the C-130 water tankers. But in so many places, more is needed. At that farm, that fire whirling closer. We offered Geronimo a ride out, but he said he would wait for his cattle. The fire pushing us back.
Wow, that entire farm where we were just minutes ago seems to be gone.
At one point, it seemed we were cornered by fire.
Keep going, keep going.
Geronimo's ranch encased in fire and smoke. Minutes later, we drove back in to see if he'd survived.
Now it's a hellscape.
And there he was.
Está bien?
And those cows, just like he said, they came home. And that farmer and conservationists agree on one thing. Only Mother Nature can stop fires on this scale. Now, the rainy season is still a couple of months out, but last night, for the first time in 2 months, a bit of a break here. It rained. George.
Well, thank goodness for that. Okay, Matt, thanks very much.
All right, we're going to switch gears to an incredible showing from Serena Williams, taking the first step toward her 24th Grand Slam overnight, beating Maria Sharapova in the first round of the U.S. Open 6-1, 6-1 in just under an hour. It was Williams' first match in Queens since her controversial loss in last year's final. And if the 27-year-old tennis superstar goes all the way, she will be the oldest woman to win in U.S. Open history. And on the other end, you have 15-year-old Coco Gauff, who is the youngest player at the U.S. Open this year. She's going to make her big debut this afternoon. Going to be a lot of eyes on the phenom. And you can see all the action on ESPN and ESPN2. And if those two meet again, it has to be in the finals.
Ooh. Whoa,
yeah.
That would be some final.
Great.
We are following a lot of other stories this morning, including we're live outside the courtroom where Lori Loughlin and her husband expected today to fight those charges in the college admissions scandal.
Also this morning, baseball legend David Ortiz out of the hospital, hiring private investigators trying to find answers after that shooting that nearly killed him.
Plus the powerhouse performances from the VMAs and the moments you didn't see. But first, got to go back to Ginger. Hey, Ginger.
A lot of fireworks there, and you got to see it looked like fireworks in Oklahoma, but this was actually power lines snapping, and this was more than 80,000 people without power at one point from storms. In New Orleans, it was 3 to 5 inches of flash flooding. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, the Tuesday Trivia, sponsored by Liberty Mutual.
Great riches will find you when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Wow, thanks, Zoltar. How can I ever repay you?
Maybe you could free Zoltar? Thanks, lady. Taxi! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Expect more clouds than sunshine today, and today is going to be a lot like yesterday, starting out in the 60s, hitting about 70 degrees by noon today for recess time and the kids, and then 79 by 3 p.m. Can't rule out a stray shower for later today. Otherwise, mostly dry. Tomorrow, 2 to 6 p.m., the best chance to see some wet weather, showers and storms, higher humidity too. And then behind that weather system, Thursday, Friday, 85 to 88 with lower humidity going into the Labor Day weekend, mostly dry.
Stay with us.
My body is truly powerful.
I have the power to lower my blood sugar and A1C.
Because I can still make my own insulin, and Trulicity activates my body to release it.